Let us welcome the ninth speaker. The ninth speaker is Mr. Rei Ueda. His speech title is Education for the 21st Century. Education for the 21st Century. So Mr. Ueda, please.
Thank you, Master of the Ceremonies and honorable judges. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Now, just a quick warning. During my speech, I'm going to ask some questions. Now, it would help me a lot if you could raise your hand when it applies to you. Please participate. The ultimate question. It is the question everyone has faced at one point in your life. I faced my ultimate question when I was 13 years old. I was studying for a modern history test when I thought, why do I have to go to school? How many of you have faced this question before? Great, I see many hands. And those of you who are not raising your hand, please participate. Let me ask another question for those of you who are working. Has knowing what year Christianity was first introduced to Japan helped you at work? Do you even remember when it was? Anyone? Exactly. So what's the point of memorizing? What's the point of taking the test? What's the point of going to school? Moreover, I was especially concerned about being graded through memorization tests. This was probably because I spent most of my elementary years in the US, where I was graded on my writings, research projects, and presentations. Now let me ask another question. How many of you have had to do research projects, reports, or presentations at work? Anyone? Exactly. The skills that I was being graded on were skills that I could see myself using 10 years later. That night, I couldn't see how cramming all that information would offer the same benefit. So, I went to sleep. The next day, I asked my teacher my ultimate question, and she answered, "It's for your future." She didn't understand. Or so I thought. What she meant was my future, meaning next week when I would get my test back with the lowest score that I could possibly get and an extra assignment. It's for your future. I knew she wasn't just talking about the test or the assignment. She was talking about how it will help me succeed in the future. Now, according to critics, our education system was developed in the industrial era. Education was all about cognitive growth, memorization, and standardized tests. So, if you had sufficient knowledge, you were guaranteed to enroll in a good university, get a lucrative job, which eventually led to a good life. So you can understand what my teacher meant. The only problem is that this theory is outdated. The same critics talk about the world's shift to the technological era where one click gives you enormous amounts of information. The quality of your ideas, an ability to find creative solutions became the key to success, not knowledge. So, although knowing may have some potential of becoming useful in the future, it shouldn't be the main focus. The focus should be educating us students so that we can come up with unique ideas and find creative solutions. In the words of these critics, education should help students develop 21st century skills, which are essential skills in the 21st century. To name a few, critical thinking, reasoning, digital literacy, teamwork, and research skills. So my next question was, how should I attain these 21st century skills? Now, critics put on emphasis on the necessity of education reforms. However, this will take a lot of time and effort. So I searched for an alternative. I couldn't find an answer until I entered high school and joined the debate team of the English club. Now, debates require 21st century skills, so it was the perfect solution. Looking back at my 2-year experience in the English club, I think I made tremendous progress in acquiring these 21st century skills. I thought, wow, if only we could do debates in class. That wish actually came true when we chose to do debate during homeroom. It was even the same topic that I was working on with my debate team. So then I started fantasizing about how much fun we'll have. I was so excited. So when the class that I've been waiting for all week finally came, do you know how I felt? Devastated. The class felt no different from all the others. It wasn't like the debate in my English club. So then I panicked. How can this be? This is supposed to be the best class ever. So then what was wrong? Then it hit me. The issue wasn't the test. It wasn't the curriculums. It wasn't education reforms. It was something much simpler. Participation. The biggest difference between schools in the US and in Japan, between my club members and my classmates, is how much everyone participates. In the US, students were always asking questions, speaking up, discussing, and sharing ideas. The same goes for my English club. But the only thing that you hear in Japanese classrooms is silence. Come to think of it, I myself became silent when I came back to Japan because it felt as if being active in class and breaking that silence was bad. But after realizing that my attitude was the problem, I changed. I spoke up, asking questions, even if it felt uncomfortable. I even encouraged my friends to contribute. The answer to my ultimate question was participation. Now, what you learn in school could be learned from textbooks, but what makes school so special is that it provides the opportunity to test yourself in the small society by coming up with arguments, testing your ideas in class, and evaluating your fellow classmates' opinions as well as your own. Therefore, it nurtures 21st century skills. Sure enough, my change in attitude had a positive impact, especially in my English class last year. My English teacher told me that my attitude to encourage participation made the whole class more active and lively. My classmates were able to communicate better. It was that simple. A simple change in the students' attitude, but a massive improvement. This is how school is preparing me for the future. Now, reforming the curriculums can improve education. But even if the government chooses to do so, if the students are not willing to participate, then it's pointless. So participate, and participate. Now, before I finish, I would like to ask you all one more question. Do you remember my request at the beginning of my speech? If you can say it, then you got my message. Please participate. Thank you.
Now, we have a question and answer session. Mrs. Tamura,
Hi.
please.
Ray-san, how are you? Obviously, you are fine, okay. Can you describe
Yes.
what the 21st century skills? You said what 21st century skills?
Okay,
What is 21st century skills?
Okay, so there are a lot of terminology, or there are a lot of definitions for this 21st century according to certain kind of critics. However, overall, it's talking about the non-cognitive skills that are needed in society in the 21st century. Now, back a few decades ago, these cognitive skills, like the basic skills like reading, mathematics, all that knowledge kind of things were the key to success. However, the 21st century skills is something more advanced, meaning, well, it is based on that knowledge, but it's going one step further into the critical thinking, reasoning, and all these problem solving. All these advanced kind of skills are what is needed in the 21st century, and that's what's called 21st century skills.
Okay. Why do you think that Japanese people are so quiet in the class in comparison with American counterparts?
Okay, so I'm really glad you asked this question because I really wanted to make this point. I think one of the biggest reasons why Japanese people are not willing to participate is because we're all afraid of failure. And the reason why we are afraid of failure, because we have this mindset that says failure equals bad. That is something that I think is the biggest reason. And failure equals bad, but, failure, but what I want to tell the audience and the judges is that this failure isn't actually a bad thing. And if we change that mindset that failure doesn't equal bad, and it's actually one step closer to success, then we'll all be able to participate more. But as for now, to answer your question, right now, the Japanese people are not willing to participate because they're afraid to fail and because they feel that failure is bad.
Can you share with us one experience that you made a mistake and you learned a lot from it?
Okay, this is actually kind of embarrassing, but before I went to the U.S., I went to I moved to Sydney, Australia, and there I was put into a public school, and I couldn't speak English at all. It was like a totally different language to me, and it felt as if I just couldn't speak English, and So then the first day of school, it was home lunch. And I brought, my mom made me a box lunch because it was, the school system was home lunch. And I dropped my fork on the way to the cafeteria. And when I opened my lunchbox, there were people around me and they opened their lunchbox, sandwiches, spaghetti, pizza, And I opened my lunch and it was a regular bento. But then there was no fork. So then I couldn't find that fork anywhere. So then I tried to speak English and asked for a fork or a spoon or whatever thing I could eat with. But there was no one understood. And I just ate with my hands. So then that was one failure. But the lesson that I got there was that, one, I need English to survive. But the other thing is that although I couldn't find that fork, the interactions that I made with the friends around me, it made a connection a bit more stronger with them because, they tried helping me with finding the fork, so then I knew that my English was really bad, but my courage and my hardship to just tell what I want to do or what I was thinking was really important, and that was a real big step for me in learning English.
Here's the last question. Okay? You have 1 minute. Imagine you are a junior high school teacher.
Okay.
Yeah? And then you are trying to encourage one of your shy students to participate in a class discussion. Right? A few days later, her monster parents come over to you and said, she's fine. She's very quiet. She doesn't like to talk. She's learning. She's fine. Just leave her alone. Okay, how would you respond to this monster parent?
Okay. Well, first of all, I would like to just tell that parent that we, the school, is offering the students and her the opportunity to grow for the future. And now being silent in class is okay. She's not causing any problems, but it's not better as well. The school is giving her an opportunity to grow for the 21st century. And by participating, you can achieve that kind of skills that are needed in the 21st century. So I would say if you really love your daughter, then encourage her to participate. And of course, we, the teachers and the environment, we would also encourage her to participate, and we would work hard for that. And I might not be the one, or I would like to say that I might not be the one to give this message to that parent or someone, maybe a friend, classmate, but I'm standing here so that I could inspire all of you to do the same. And although I affected my classroom, that was just a really small part of Japan. And I'm standing here on this stage today to give this message to you and take it home with you and spread this word so that Japan could become better by participation. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tamura. The Q&A session is over. Thank you, Mr. Ueda.